I mean, everyone knows what bull riding is. Everyone knows what PBR is. Everyone knows, and it's the fastest growing sport on the planet right now. I mean, in Brazil, it's massive how PBR has just taken over.
Oh, hi Neil.
Hi, Jana. Good morning. How are you?
Good, and you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. It's a pleasure. I saw you like years ago. We are in the same event for the Minions. So you're there with your family. I was there with my family. I was like, oh
Oh,
my
great.
God. Yes, it was great. So
Well,
love the
nice.
movie.
Thank you.
Love the movie. Such a, you know, my heart is like full, full of love, and it's about family, it's about redemption, it's about like, I don't know, second chances. What was like the main inspiration for the script like that you wrote?
The inspiration, I was doing another Western at the time called The Warrant. And I was driving home from work one day, and Reve and the kids were back in Los Angeles, and I was in Arizona, and I was just particularly melancholy as I get when I'm away from Reve. And I had to pull over to the side of the road because I got gut punched with this thought that what would ever happen to me if something happened to Reve? And then I looked out in the field and I saw horses around, and all of a sudden this thought came into my head, which I know was a gift from him above. Write a film about Rocky on a Bull, where you have to go back and save your grandson because he's dying of the same brain tumor that your wife died of. It was such a departure from what I've been writing for the last few years, where it's usually tough guys and ex-hitmen who found their religious heart, or taking out bad guys, or action films. And this was like a complete different road that I was going down. And I sat there on the side of the road for 2 hours, voice dictating the whole script into the phone. And the next morning I woke up and I sent it off to my writing partner, and he read it and he was like, "This is incredible, but this is so not what you've been writing lately. Where did this come from?" I said, "I'm fairly certain this was a gift from him." And then a week later we had our first draft, and a week later we had it all set up. And 2 years almost to the date, it's going to be in the movie theaters. That never happens. That's a speed that's like light speed for Hollywood terms. And uh, I don't. I'm just so fortunate and blessed to be here right now, Jana, with you talking about The Last Rodeo, which comes out on May 23rd. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's some projects, some stuff that we do. Sometimes we don't know how everything happens, you know what I mean? There is this this, I don't know, people call energy, people call the universe, I call God.
Right.
So I know I know that something he pushes us in a way that we can sometimes we don't understand, but
That's right.
stuff happens. So it's
But if you
amazing.
listen, if you really listen and not make it about yourself, and make it about God first, me second, family first, me second, if you live by that, doors just start to open up, and you stop making it about yourself, and you stop worrying about all those, superficial things that we gravitate towards in life. The thing we're supposed to gravitate towards more in life than anything is God and family and country. And the last rodeo, we get to talk about those things. We get to talk about faith. We get to talk about family, and how difficult it is at times to have a fractured family. All families go through difficult times, every single one of them. And we talk about it right up front in this film, and I'm so proud of that. And then to talk about, the heartland of America. And I've said the heartland of America's voice has been lost for so many years with the movies that and TV shows that Hollywood's been churning out. They're either really big, huge explosion movies, which you can't really bring your kids to, or they're really dark, weird, strange films that you can't bring your kids to either. And so for me to be in a position that Reve and I get to make these films where you can sit in the movie theater, bring all your kids, not have to worry about covering ears or eyes, not have to worry about really kind of strange situations that you don't want your kids to see, but instead write and make movies that the whole family can learn from and say, well, this guy got through that problem, or she got through this problem. How can I get through this problem that I have in my personal life? And to leave the cinema with a great feeling in your stomach, knowing that everything is possible through God. It's pretty humbling, and I know it's important because people love this film, and they're clamoring to talk about this film, and it's such an honor that people are loving it this much. And it came from the heart and soul, and it talks about redemption, as you said. It talks about forgiveness. It talks about what are you prepared to do to protect and provide for your family. Those are the things that America was built on. And I know that America's just going to love this film because of that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you can talk with the kids and then kind of open discussions, like more understanding of everything else. And then rodeo. I was born. I'm from Brazil, so in Brazil, all the rodeos they call rodeos are
That's right.
really big. Is and it's gigantic over there. And then I know some of them comes here to the U.S. because here is also big, not in California, but in other
Right.
states. But how much did you knew about rodeo, bull riding, coming like riding these or coming on board? Like,
That was the other thing. You know, when that idea was planted in my head, I didn't know. I mean, everyone knows what bull riding is. Everyone knows what PBR is. Everyone knows, and it's the fastest growing sport on the planet right now. I mean, in Brazil, it's massive how PBR has just taken over. So, you know, I didn't know a ton about it, but I certainly immersed myself into the culture, and I'm so blessed because of it. Because, you know, what other sporting event starts with a prayer? That doesn't happen anymore. So immediately you're setting a tone for family, which coincides exactly with what the Last Rodeo film is all about. It's all about family and doing the right thing. And then it goes on to always rooting for people. And real American values are about rooting for everyone, rooting for your opponent even. In last rodeo, we delve on that. When you can see when one rider falls, the other riders are there to pick him up, not make fun of him or laugh at him, but to pick him and say, "Come on, you'll do better the next time." Or if a rider goes out there and hits that 8 seconds, all the riders are happy for him because you want to see your opponent do their very best. So if you do beat them, you feel like you beat the best, and it's just a great feeling. And if you lost knowing that you gave your all, trying to be your very best. That's what sport to me is about. Sport isn't about, you know, wishing ill will towards your opponent. I want you to give me your best game and let's have at it. That's what competition's supposed to be about, and that's what America was built upon. You know, a good, strong, healthy competition, and that's what bull riding. When you go to any of these events, it's a family environment, and everyone's rooting for each other. It's not like some major sports events where half the people hate the other half, or they're rooting for the other team to fail. That's not the case in bull riding. Everyone in the arena is waiting for someone to get that 8 seconds. So it starts with a prayer and ends with a cheer. And that's what we did in the last rodeo. It starts with difficult, you know, prayers and hardships. And by the end of the film, it's all about hope and that everything is possible through faith. And I love writing to those ideals. And to me, that's what America is built upon. That's what makes America so great and the greatest country ever devised. And we get to tap into it in the last rodeo. That's why I know families are going to go crazy for this movie.
yeah, people are gonna love it. They're gonna love it. I know for sure. And also like the bull riding sequences are amazing, so beautiful and so well done. I think John, the director, he's really, really good. And how was like this experience in work with him? And how was it for you, like to do those scenes? Did you do your scenes
Yep.
yourself, or
I
like
did a lot. I did a lot of them myself, and it hurt, you know. But to work with John Avnet, who's my favorite director of all time, who I consider to be the greatest director of all time. You know, he's done so many great movies and TV series. You know, from Justified to Boomtown, my first series that I ever really did. And years ago, when I was going through a very hard time, when I got kind of canceled in Hollywood because I wouldn't kiss a woman on screen, and they fired me. And for 2 years, I couldn't get a job, and I lost everything, lost it all. They took everything, foreclosed on everything, and then I thought, my gosh, my life is over. And I said to God, why have you forgotten about me? And as soon as those words came out of my mouth, I realized I was making all this pain about me. And that's what Joe Wainwright did. And that's why it's so semi-autobiographical. And Joe and Neal, they're very, very similar. And finally, you know, it was Reveille and John Avnet, after I said those words, 1 minute later, the phone rang. And it was John Avnet saying, I hear you're going through some hard stuff. How'd you like to be the bad guy in Justified? I said, yes, absolutely. And it was Reveille pulling me out of the ashes to get me to be the man that I was supposed to be again. She kept on saying, man up, you got this, man up, you got this. And I got through it. And, you know, I gave up alcohol right then, you know, 10 years ago, because that was just ruining my brain and just pushing everyone away and just allowing me to just kind of live in my own self-pity, which was really kind of dumb. And ever since that day, my life has changed so much. You know, we're about to produce our 11th film together, my wife and I. And if it weren't for guys like John Avnet helping me through all these years, I wouldn't be here. And for John Avnet to direct my baby, and for, you know, I told John, this is my baby, but it's yours now. You do with it what you want and make it your own. His bull riding sequences, you feel like you're at a PBR event.
Yeah.
And Sean Gleason made sure, he says, he gave us the riders, he gave us the bulls, he kitted up the stadiums to make sure it looked exactly like a PBR event. And John Avnet captured the essence of what it's like to be a bull rider, what it's like to be a fan at a PBR event, and what it's like to be just around PBR and how amazing and great they are. So John Avnet crushed it directing this film, and I'm so proud of him and so blessed that he was our leader.
Yeah, it's amazing that you producing the movies with your wife. It's like a family affair, and now you guys are like kind of reunited with Angel Studios and to have their support on distribution. How is this? How is that for you? Like to be reunited with them again, and how important this type of studios to be like running and like distributing this type of movies.
Well, it's hard to find people who will distribute these types of films. You know, it's getting a lot easier now because you look at the films that we've done that Reve and I produced with Angel from The Shift, and that did really well, you know, in a return, but also it was just a great movie. And that was a $4 million budget. Then we went to a $6 million budget with Homestead, which made $23 million in the box office, which is a pretty sizable hit. Now we're at $8.5 million film on The Last Rodeo, but John Avnet made it look like a $50 million film. So I'm praying that audiences go out and actually go to the cinema and support this film, because it'll tell Hollywood, we're tired of all the dark, weird stuff that comes out of Hollywood. Let's make films that the whole family can go to, and not just saccharine sweet films, actual good movies that have a backdrop of faith, that have a backdrop of bull riding, that really talks about what the American family is all about and how to protect it and how to build it and how to make it better. And that's what we did. And that's why I think the United States of America is just going to love this film, but not just the US. You go overseas, especially places like Brazil, you know, the culture in Brazil is all about the cowboy. And it's just, I can't wait to go to visit Latin America and go down to Mexico and go down to Brazil or go down to wherever, and really embrace that culture that culture itself knows is so important. Man up, be a cowboy, don't complain, don't whine, do what's best for God. And I love that. And I cannot wait to get to Brazil.
Yeah, you're gonna love it, Brazil.
Yeah, can't wait.
It's like, and people are and the fans there, they're very welcome. They're gonna welcome you really, really hard. Like they're very
That's right. I
loyal.
have to brush up my Portuguese really fast before I get there and make sure it's all singing so I can understand everybody.
Yeah, they're gonna love it. You mentioned about like the John elevate the movie a lot. I love the cinematography. There is some like when they saw the landscape of like it is Texas, and then it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
So beautiful. Yeah, it's, you know, Denis Lenoir, who is the cinematographer, has worked with John for 25 years. And this was, he wanted to look like a modern day Western. And the vistas and the landscape shots and everything else that was designed between John and Denis was really kind of breathtaking. You know, you don't see that in smaller independent films. This felt like a big budget film. And they pulled out all the stops, and they knew it was so important to do it correctly and do it to make PBR look great, to do a film that gives glory to God, and how important that was for Reve and I. And they got it, and they did it. And boy, am I just so proud to be here and talking about it.
Amazing. And for you as a producer, like what was like the biggest challenge? Not as an actor, but as a producer.
Well, we've produced, you know, like I was saying, we're about to start our 11th film that Reve and I are producing, which is pretty awesome, whether it's an executive producer or actual producer, but to write, star, and produce is different because now it's your baby. It's 100% yours. So we work hard on every project we're on, but there was just something different about this because it really was personal, and it was really kind of semi-autobiographical about my life when I went through my hardships. And I just infused that into Joe Wainwright. And to see Joe go through the hardships that he's going through and to make it through in the end through his faith and finding his faith finally, it was great. It was, I'm so proud of it, and I'm so humbled by the fact that everyone has loved the film so far. And we know we made something great when we were we knew it was something special was going on. But to see the audience reaction so far at the screenings that I've been to has just been, I get goosebumps just thinking about it right now, that people are really enjoying our baby and loving it. And so please go support the film. Again, if you want to see more films like this, you got to go support it. You can't talk
Yeah.
about it. You actually have to put your butt in a movie theater seat, watch the movie, enjoy a Coke and some popcorn, sit back and enjoy The Last Rodeo, because I guarantee you this, you won't regret it. And if you have a problem with it, email me and I'll refund your money. But you won't, because I know for a fact you're going to love this film. If this is the type of film you love, you're going to love it. You're going to go crazy. And I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the cast. Sarah and Graham play Sally and Cody, your daughter and grandson. How amazing is that kid? I love this. He's
Graham
such a
Harvey is
great.
going to, we're all going to be working for Graham Harvey one day. He came in, look, it's not easy to be, a 13, 14-year-old kid and come into a situation where it's me and John Avnet and Mykelti, who have worked together for 25 years so many times. There's this brotherhood that we have. And for Graham to jump in immediately, just be part of it and have the confidence to jump in as Cody and give his all. He was so good in the movie, like so dialed in good. And then there's Sarah Jones, who I think is the most untapped, fantastic talent that I've met in quite some time. Was in it to win it. Every take was fantastic. She was crackling. She knew that this was a great opportunity for her, but also just to be part of a film like this was something that she knew was special. And everyone from, we wrote the film knowing that Mykelti Williamson was going to play Charlie. We had a picture of Mykelti on the computer while we were typing the whole time. On the other side was Christopher McDonald, one of my other best friends in Hollywood, who was going to play Jimmy Mack. So to have, two of my greatest friends in Hollywood jump on this journey with us was just awesome. Those guys are busy. They're doing tons of movies, and to be part of The Last Rodeo was something that meant a lot to me, and they knew it, and they saw it on Reve's face and my face, and they jumped on full bore, and they were like, let's go, let's crush this thing. And everyone who was involved did. And John Avnet was the maestro. And to have him as the leader and have these actors on board acting out a screenplay that we came up with, produced by Angel Studios, that the whole family can go and see. Are you kidding me? Jana, I can't speak enough about it, or else I start getting choked up.
That's amazing. And you've been such a like in this business for quite some time. You did different characters. This is kind of a new character for you, but anything else that you'd like to play in the future that you didn't play, any genre that you'd like to do that you didn't play yet, didn't do yet?
I always wanted to be the John Wayne guy. I couldn't do it because I wouldn't kiss another woman on screen. So finally, for someone like Angel Studios to give me the shot, and the investors who put their money behind us to give us the opportunity to be able to be the guy who, goes through all this emotional baggage, who's the hero at the end of the film, who gets to kiss the girl, and that girl I get to kiss is none other than my actual wife, Reve. I don't know anyone who's more fortunate than Neal McDonough at this point. I went through hardships, I went through ups and downs, and I'm so grateful for all of them because they made me the man that I am today. And I know people are going to love this movie because they're going to see me for who I am. And to say, is there something else I'd rather do in the future? I don't know what could top this. I really don't. We've got some great movies coming up. We got a TV series that we're working on with STX and Lionsgate. We've got this movie, The Wicked and the Righteous, a big Western that we wrote. That's a biblical, great, fantastic Western. So I'm just blessed to be where I am. I don't really think about the future. Whatever God has in plans in store for me, I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that I do the best that I can possibly do. And that's where Reve and I are at right now. And we're so very fortunate and blessed to be here.
Yeah, you're doing your part. And then like creating and then of course it's going to work. There's always a way to do stuff. And then I think it's such an amazing. And I need to ask you about Tulsa King because it's Sylvester Stallone. How was like, well, how is it for you to be in the series, and now you guys are filming like the season 3, right?
Yep. Sylvester Stallone he defies logic. He is so prepared as an artist. He's mentally and physically in it. He's turning 79 this year, and he works out hard every day. He's such an inspiration. His Wife Jennifer is always there on set. She's an executive producer on the show now. His daughter Scarlett's always around. She's in the show, but he loves his family being around him. Just like on set, I love having my family around me. And to work with a guy who's in it to win it, you know, I work hard. Like my dad told me, if they give you $1, give them $2 worth of effort. You know, Sly's the same. If you give him $1, he's giving you $2 every single time, because he wants to never let an audience down. And to be around a guy who created one franchise, Rocky, you figure that would be enough. But then to also create the Creed franchise. Then there's the Expendables franchise. Then, of course, there's the Rambo franchise.
Yeah.
And for him to write and direct or produce and star in all these movies, what an inspiration that is for a guy who started with, you know, a speech impediment and a thick accent from Brooklyn or the Bronx. Brooklyn, yeah. To be who he is at this, you know, where he's gone to and what he's achieved in his life. If that inspiration doesn't rub off on you, there's something wrong with you. And I love being around Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that's amazing. And for us to wrap it up, any advice to give to young kids that want to pursue a career in this business?
If you have the talent, if you have, you know, I was lucky. I found at a young age, at 14 years old, that I had this God-given talent of being able to entertain people on stage. I played Snoopy and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and got a standing ovation my first night. I was like, oh, I am good at this. This is fun. And I get to give back to the audience. And that's the key. But my art, the way I look at it is what can I do to entertain an audience? And being the youngest of 6 kids growing up, my job was always to entertain my siblings or my parents or whomever came by. So if you have that God-given talent, then you have to also realize that talent was given to you by God. And if you work hard and make choices for him and do the right things every day, life gets a lot easier. And you don't worry about the extra stuff or those shiny little things that you think you might need, because you don't need them. All you need is love of family and the love of and respect of God when you make your choices in life. And people think as an artist, well, that's just weird. Can you have God and artistry at the same time? Well, isn't that what Da Vinci did? Isn't that what the great artists of all time had God as a backdrop? Because they knew their talent didn't come from them, the great ones. They knew their talent came from above. It was divine inspiration and intervention. So I know that's where I am right now. He gave me this talent, and I don't want to let anybody down, so I'm going to keep on hitting it hard until he calls me to come upstairs, and hopefully I get that call. And until then, I'm going to work really hard making sure that I'm part of productions that Reve and I have our print on that give glory to him to the best of our ability. And for artists, young artists, if you stay on that path, trust me, great things will happen. Don't make it about you. Make it about serving him and serving everybody else.
Yeah, the hint first. I'm just gonna tell you that I'm here, like talking to you. I'm from Brazil. I never thought that I would be living in LA, talking to people like, you know, these movie actors that some of them I grew up watching, and then this is all God's work, because that's why I'm here. I believe in that a lot, very, 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 very much. So Neal, I just want to thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you. I'm gonna spread the word out about the LAST Rodeo, and say hello to your family. It's your beautiful family, and I see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen. We'll see you again soon. God bless you all.
Bye bye. Muito obrigada. Ciao.
Obrigado.
If you like to support or continue to support Jana on camera, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos.